Welcome to Otakin with Dave, coming to you from his palatial fortress in Sin City. Put your hands together for the pastor of positivity whose glass is always at least half full. Here's Dave.
Hey, how we doing out there? I hope you're doing great. I am ready for the weekend. It's Friday here. I don't know when this is coming out, but it's Friday. I'm in that Friday kind of mood. I am. I'm excited. Always something good. I'm going to see some comedy this weekend. I love live comedy and live music, so I'm going to do that. And I know I'm going to run into some people out there that suck. You know, that's some people do. I remember Tom Segura did that bit where he was in a movie and some guy was talking or interrupting or whatever, and finally it got so bad. You know, he talked to the guy. He didn't change the behavior. He went and talked to the manager, and the manager just looked at him like you would think a movie theater manager would do. Had been beat down on everything. Probably the popcorn machine wasn't working right. Somebody was complaining about the prices. This, that, and the other. Then here comes Tom, and the manager looked at him and said, "What can I tell you? Some people suck." That is true. And I don't, sometimes, and I talked about situational impatience. Sometimes I can handle it better than others. And then sometimes it's just, so let's just talk about that a bit. Because I think if we realize that some people are just that way, we can maybe control our reaction time or our reaction intensity to it a little better. But just think about it. What am I talking about when I say some people suck? Let's just different things, different examples. And I can come up with real life examples. But just, it can be something as simple as, interrupting. Somebody's constantly interrupting you or somebody in the conversation. Some people are easily interrupted and they've got something to say and they can't get it out because somebody else keeps doing it. That's disrespectful. Or one thing that's getting me especially lately is if they're on their phone and they're talking so loud, everybody can hear it. And especially in airports, they've got the AirPods in and they're walking around and they're very important. They're very important. And they are talking as if they are in a conference room. And everybody's looking. There was a guy not too long ago, and he was talking to someone, and the conversation became entertaining because it turned out to be a problem. And then it turned out to where you learn more of it, and he caused the problem. And that it started out annoying, and I waited, and it became all right. It's kind of funny, You still suck, however, So that happens. The worst to me is when they got them on speakerphone and they're holding the phone. I used to have a neighbor that did that, but they're, whether it's in a grocery store, when, on airplanes, it's crazy before they close the door. Some of the flight attendants don't put up with that anymore, but just in public, holding the phone up and everybody's on speakerphone. That person sucks. That's ridiculous. That is so inconsiderate, and then this is starting to happen again. It didn't happen for a while, and it didn't matter to some degree because everybody was wearing masks. But coughing or sneezing without covering your mouth, what are you doing? Your mama didn't raise you right, first of all. But what are you doing? That behavior is unacceptable. And then you can get to different kinds of just public behavior. It's you meet somebody and they just overshare personal stuff. I talked to somebody the other day. It was just a basic, "Hey, how's it going?" which is a throwaway line. "Oh, pretty good. How are you?" "Oh, pretty good." Well, turns out this person had a lot of challenges in life and they shared them with me. Well, it was rhetorical there. I was up in northern Nevada, and I got this. Look at this. Got that nice fade going. That's what I call it. And It takes 5 minutes, 7 minutes to prepare this coif, as you will. And in that 5 to 7 minutes, this person I had never met who cut my hair with a number 1.5 all over shared so many personal things. Everything from her recent bout with food poisoning to she thinks her, her boyfriend's ex-wife is trying to get him back, to the shrimp they ate for dinner last night, hurt her stomach. And after that food poisoning incident, every little thing gets to her. And she knows she shouldn't have cooked it because it didn't smell right. All right. I don't know if this person sucks or their life sucks. But anyway, come on. I just really focus on this intricate hairdo I have. Yeah. So oversharing, that gets on my nerves. People in the way. Like they'll block a hallway or they'll stand right in front of the elevator. Well, when that door opens, if people are going to come out, you're standing in the way. You don't know who's on that elevator. You suck. I was in a gym yesterday. I go in, I do, with my bodybuilding routine, I have to be diligent or I'll lose this. And so, when I get through with whatever I'm doing, I usually go sit in the sauna for a little bit. I love the sauna. That's the only reason I go to the gym. And I love the sauna because it's, sweat out the impurities. But also, when I leave the sauna, I'm all sweaty. I look like I've really worked out. It's all a facade. I open the door, and it's one of those that's got a bench here. It's 2-tiered here, and then on the other side, there's a guy, looks like the guitar player for Limp Bizkit, gained 200 pounds, and he is laying all along that top bench, which would seat 3 or 4 grown men. No shirt, no towel, nothing. He's just laid out. And, I saw a couple of guys open the door before I got there and just turn around and leave. Well, I'm not going to do that. So I went in. Well, he sat up and, my goodness, this is horrible. So I sat on the other bench, but I saw people keep coming in. And he was, my goodness, he was all contorted and just totally unconcerned and inconsiderate and unhygienic and all this. This guy, this guy sucked. That's all it is. I mean, what are you doing that? You're blocking. I've seen people stand in front, come in and stand there. You're watching TV, or they'll come in and start a conversation in the middle of something. It's just, they don't have just the general manners. And I'm not talking about not saying excuse me or thank you or please, or I'm talking about rude public behavior. Just loud and boisterous. And if that's, read the room, understand the scene. Otherwise, you're causing a problem. Close talkers. You know a close talker? Do you remember Seinfeld with the close talk? Judge Reinhold, I think, was the close talker, but I've had those before. And it's funny to a point. I mean, they're right here. I've seen people back people across a room as close talkers. I mean, how about some personal space here? I love a mosh pit as much as anybody. I like to mix it up. I don't play football. I don't really play many sports anymore, so that's the only physical contact I get. But it's expected. It's accepted and expected. If you don't want that, don't get near. Don't get around the edges. You're going to get flailed. That's okay. Not in an office building or not at church or, my goodness, not in a place where it's not expected or accepted. And then let's just get into the driving for a minute. I was on the way. I was in Nevada. I posted a picture. It said, I saw this sign, and I couldn't read it. And then I got to the next one. It said, "Stay right except to pass." Oh, that's in Nevada. They get it. And there really wasn't that big of a problem. Maybe it's those signs. But anyway, I saw the next one coming up, and I pulled over, and I took a picture of it. And I posted that because, you know how passing lanes is my thing. The passing lane is for passing. Don't hang out in the passing lane. If you do it every now and then and forget, you're oblivious and all that, okay. If you're just hanging out in the passing lane, you suck. Stop it. Get in the right lane. Stay right except to pass. We're gonna do it. We're gonna get there, people. One highway at a time. Utah and Nevada are doing better. And there was a guy the other day. I was in northern Nevada driving, and here this yahoo was just toddling along in the passing lane. I had to go. I was going along. I passed one. I had to go around them, pass them in the regular lane. Well, California tag. There you go. Or I don't use my turn signal a lot, but you know what's bad is when someone leaves their turn signal on and you're paying attention, or when someone has their turn signal on and okay, you're going to pull out, they don't turn. It's crazy. I've almost got hit twice in the last 6 months by people saying, okay, I'm going to turn. All right, I'll ease out. I don't ease out anymore. That's ridiculous. That's poor behavior, poor driving acumen. And, just so many things. Another thing with traffic that gets me. Okay, it's an exit ramp. There may be a bit of a line. You know who you are if you do this. Or if you're merging or something, go all the way up to the edge and expect to be let in. Now, if you forget, you're going to act like you forget. Some don't. They just go right up the front and just wedge their way in. Any braking line has always bothered me, but in traffic, that person who thinks their time's more important than everybody else's, and they'll do that, and they're repeat offenders. I've been in the car with some of you people, and you just laugh at it. Well, let me tell you something. You suck. That's poor behavior. Stop it. I let people in. I'll let people in. And I guess if I let you in, I expect at some point karma or the universe, if I need to get it, let me in. That's when we're in Vegas, so we merge constantly. You never know when they're going to close a lane. So and it's pretty kind. I tell you another thing. If I let you in, you better give me the thanks. I always give the thanks. When I'm passing people on the highway, I was on 2-lane roads, and I would get out around like a trucker or something, and they'd pump the brakes to slow down to let me around. Oh, always thanks, buddy. I know what you did there. I saw it. Thank you. That person does not suck. That's a upstanding individual. But something about, I don't know, just traffic and letting people in and knowing where you are. I talked a lot about this in passing lanes. Doing the opposite. Parking lots. If I put my blinker on and I am my turn signal, sorry, I'm not in Alabama anymore. Okay, they're coming out. I got this. Somebody else pulls in. I'm going to be incarcerated. There's no doubt about that. I was at Carl's Jr. in San Diego a few months ago. I order my bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit. I go up to the window. I give them my money. There's a car behind me. They honk. They honk at me. What am I going to do? Just give them the money and leave without my food? I'm not cooking here. I'm not your problem. What? That person sucks. Stop it. Oh. Now, I'm not talking about a group necessarily of bicyclers. But you got that one rogue bicycler that's on the sidewalk and has stopped and is sideways on his phone. Oh, I feel my heartbeat. I feel my heartbeat in my temple. That is ridiculous. That person deserves some sort of, I don't know, physical and mental treatment. You don't do that. That's sucky behavior. And then, going back to the parking lot, it drives me crazy when, I realize your car is nice. It's really cool. It's a beautiful car, but don't take up 2 spots. Don't take up 2 spots. That's, that's going to tempt me to lose my cherub-like demeanor. And then workplace. I mean, you got it in the workplace all the time. Everything. You're around these people so much. You're gonna know of people who do this. And again, if you don't know of any people who do these things, you may be the one, because there's always at least one. But just workplace etiquette. You're around people. You may be eating at your desk, you may be in the break or whatever. You got smackers. You got people chewing with their mouth open. You got all of that. No, nobody wants to hear that. I don't want to see your food turn from a solid to particles to, come on. Or leaving, not cleaning up after yourself. That you're born in a barn, Another thing. Email etiquette. A group, somebody sends something out to everybody with an announcement. And people reply to all. Or per my last email, kind of the passive aggressive approach to email. I've got a rule: if it takes more than a couple of emails, pick up the phone. But as I was saying, or third, fourth request. Look, Rhonda, your office is right next to mine. Just walk over. Your cubicle. Just stand up and say something. You don't have to be a dick about it. Come on. Oh, and this is one I think a lot of times people don't know they're doing it, but you're in a conference situation. I get this a lot when I'm speaking. You'll have that person, they may not realize it. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt, but they're clicking their pen. Click. Or they're trotting. And it's such that it's creating a vibration or something. And I've had people that were engaged. It's not like they're off somewhere else, but they're annoying little habits. If that continues, especially if they're, you bring it to their attention, I've walked over and just put my hand on their hand before to stop them from clicking, just to point it out to them, and then they keep going. Or the chewing gum with the mouth open. That the smacking, it's kind of like food, only gum lasts longer. Yeah, or my buddy used to do this. He was, he had a religious restrictions on his diet, and he would bring his lunch, and he would have it in Tupperware, and I don't know how long it's been in that Tupperware, but he would go straight to the microwave with it, and good Lord, he buzzed off a gut wagon, and it's just And he was nice, offer you some, so I don't know if he sucks as much as the smell of that food sucked, I'll tell you that. And then, you've got different technologies that have come along, but some of our human brains aren't developed enough. I don't want to hear your kids, whatever they're listening to on the plane. Get them some headphones, playing that stuff out loud. And it's not just kids. Well, the parents are with the kids, they should know that. But so many times I'll hear people, I watch reels. I watch them all the time, but they're just constantly, and they're playing them out loud. I can't imagine that. Can you? I mean, do you do that? If you do that, you suck. But it happens all the time. Now, before I get too crazy, I've had my AirPods on and opened something up, and it started playing before it connected, but I'm always like, oh, sorry. People get that. But it's been to the point to where I've seen people ring their call button to call the flight attendant to this person next to me. Can we do something here? Well, he's right next to you. Address it. So there's so many more. Just common, most of the time it's just being inconsiderate or oblivious. When it's worst is when they're obnoxious or boisterously doing this, breaking line, do all these things. There are so many people that are mean, mean to people that are doing their job, whether it's wait staff or bartenders or people cleaning up or whatever. I'm going to think of some more as we go. But what I want to talk to is, what kind of environments are these usually the case? If we're under high stress, like a workplace, really high stress workplace, and there's a lot of pressure, sometimes we're not at our best. Okay. However, some people are consistently known for sucking under pressure. And you get short-tempered. I get it. You get impatient. Sometimes, I've got a set amount of things. That selfishness crops up. I get that. When you do that, you put your needs over others because it's just a rough situation. I get it. So that causes this a lot of times. I talked about traffic or public transportation. That's where at the airports you're going to, cutting in line. I witnessed some road rage the other day. It's horrible. When you see it, it's so bad, but when you're starting to feel it, it seems totally normal. It's all bad. But anytime you're around crowds, like a subway or even a shuttle bus to the rental car area, I mean, you're either wanting to get from somewhere or to somewhere, and okay, I get it. And you get all types, if you know what I mean. So, it may be from different countries all over the world, different social classes, different exposures. It may be somebody's first time. So, you try to give people the benefit of the doubt. And then you get to like a retail setting. And I'm not talking about Christmas when it is madness, but just normal stores. You go in and you depending on how often you frequent these places, certain things, but then you have these entitled people that are rude. They're just rude to people that are working there, or they're rude to people around them. They think they deserve this halo of space that you can't enter. It's just, it wears on everybody. And then the thing is, they take their stress out on the workers. I remember, I'll get to it in a minute. I got upset not too long ago. Anyway, you look online. Here's the problem online is you can suck online and get away with it because it's anonymous and there's nobody. What are they going to do? Type something back at you? But people seem to be more selfish or argumentative online, where they can be, like I said, anonymous, or they can be cutting, they can be superficial, whatever, and then they can just click and they go away. But some people, that it holds on to them. It really grabs them, and they take that with you. I have been accused of trolling from time to time. Sometimes I get a kick out of it, so I get that. But it's all playful. I'm not trying to hurt somebody, but this whole lack of face-to-face. Now, I just mentioned a whole bunch of face-to-face stuff that drives you crazy. However, you can suck all over the world online or on social media. But then again, I've seen this, and I go to a lot of shows, a lot of concerts, and you've got different, different classes. And I don't mean that socially at all. What I'm talking about, you got those people who go, they're there constantly. Me and my son, we see the same people. I don't even know a lot of these people's names, but we speak because, we see them at all the shows, especially the same type of music. Then you have those shows where, okay, well, these guys haven't been out in a while, and the boys are going out to a show, and they are going to get absolutely cronkled. They're going to yell and sing every word to every song, and they're going to be sloshing their drinks around, and it ruins the experience for everybody around them. Then you have the date night show, and I'm talking about rock and roll, man. I'm not talking about Night at the Symphony. Well, the date night show, that's one or two big shows a year where those guys I just talked about bring their wives who haven't been to a stand-up show maybe ever, and it's all about what they're wearing. And I get this, ladies, you look nice. It's wonderful. But they have no clue about etiquette. And I'm talking about not mosh pit etiquette, close, but a rock show. You're standing up. Just because the guy in front of you is taller doesn't mean that he needs to go away. I had a situation with my son. Went to get us a drink, came back, and we were standing there, and the lady behind him starts poking him, saying, "I can't see." Well, he had a couple of things to say to her, and I couldn't quit laughing. And then her husband or date or whoever it was, he's biting his tongue. Because, see, I mean, my boy, we're not small, and he didn't want to get into it, and he knew she was wrong. Well, push your way up front. Go stand on something. Yeah, and see, some of that is situational. It's not that they suck. It's that they're uninformed. They're not experienced. But that, you've got to have a regard for a person's personal space. So these people that actually suck, what is it? What is it about them? Because I like to understand the why. Why are you this way? Maybe if I know why you're this way, I can excuse your behavior a little bit. And full disclosure, I know you're thinking, I know a bunch of you who know me, Dave, there have been many times you have sucked. Guilty. And my goal is to suck less. All right? So it's a worthy endeavor. Well, why are some of these people act the way they do? And I think a lot of times, one of the reasons is just a lack of empathy. They don't understand other people's feelings or needs, but also they don't care. So they tend to either be or come across as selfish and rude. All we know is they were selfish and rude. And, these are kind of people who interrupt conversations a lot. They'll just jump right in. They're one-uppers. I've even had people who are sharing their heart about something that happened, and one of these people that sucks says, "Oh, that's nothing," and they just launch into a story and cut them off. That's sucky behavior. Well, they don't even consider how their actions affect other people. So I think the lack of empathy, that's part of it. The other thing is just a poor awareness. Read the room. Have some social awareness. There's a certain voice level that's going on. You don't need to be above that. Don't be so loud. I know you're trying to draw attention to yourself, and maybe that's why you're doing it. Or maybe you're not, but you're just not aware of how loud you are. Your body language, you're flailing your arms, you're making these angry faces, and we're talking about puppies, So a lot of that, that can lead you to talking too much or oversharing, like I talked about earlier. Just engaging in behavior that's not appropriate, that any fair-minded person would consider sucky behavior, but either you're not aware of it or you don't care. You don't care. The one that gets me, though, we can talk selfish, unaware, lack of empathy, but the entitled people, this bothers me. This bothers me. And I'm not talking about people who deserve something. I'm talking about, they worked for it, they did this is the da-da-da-da-da. They deserve it. Any fair-minded person would say, yeah, they deserve that. I'm talking about the entitled people who believe their needs or their opinions or their time is more important than yours. Yeah, I'm a little upper crust. I'm a VIP. Please. I mean, these are people who they have to get the last word in. They have to dominate a conversation. They disregard anybody else's input, anybody else's time frames or schedules. These are the people that will they'll show up late to a conference call, and because of them, it goes 10 minutes over. Yeah. They want special treatment. Those people suck. Come on. Now, all right, I'm going to brag here. I am a lifetime Hilton Diamond member. I know. Please keep your applause keep it down. Keep it down. We got to move on. I'm going to be conscious of your time. Well, I expect a few things. I don't use all the benefits because it could hurt other people. But you know what? I'd like a couple of waters. I don't need the snacks. If I do the digital key and check in, I'll come down later and ask for those. But that's one of the perks for spending a gazillion dollars a year at Hilton Properties. My miles, I like the miles. I mean not the miles, but the points, that kind of stuff. That's earned. It's part of it, and I kind of expect it, but I don't think that qualifies as being entitled. I don't call the front desk if there's not a mint on my pillow, or if they didn't change my towels by noon. No, that's the kind of thing these entitled people do. Hey, don't like it. Don't like it. Also, I think a lot of these people, they really have, and I can identify with this, a patience problem. And their patience problem can lead them to lose some control. Maybe impatient behavior. Now, situational patience, I did it before. I'm working on that, by the way. I may have my wife on here just to tell you that I'm getting better. Please understand I'm trying. But this lack of self-control, it happens a lot of times when people get impatient. So they'll start abruptly interrupting you, or, you see them, just, okay, come on. They got something to say, and then they'll interrupt you, and they'll start complaining or being very negative. If they're short-tempered, there's no telling what can happen depending on the situation. I'm in a lot of public settings, both professionally, but also just having a good time. I mean, my band plays a lot of bars. We see a lot of behavior, and I can watch it. I can watch it build. Everything from, I can see a guy throughout the night, see what's happening with him, and then I can tell, I can't wait till they give him his check. He has no idea what all he's done or who's put their drinks on his or what all's happened. And I just wait for it. And then, boom, the eruption happens. Well, dude, that's because of this, and this, which equals you suck. Yeah, sucky behavior can be predicted. Very much so. Usually it's consistent. When I have it, you can probably draw some common things to it, but it's not that often, I don't think. And then, of course, I feel bad about it, and I'll usually apologize. This is not about me, though. This is about people that suck. But another thing is people that are the Debbie Downers, they're always picking the negative or complaining about something. You give them a crisp new $100 bill. Ooh, it's a little crisp. I could cut myself with that. They'll find something bad in everything. They're pessimistic. They're tough to be around. They're the Debbie Downer, but not the funny kind. And every time they come around, they can take a great atmosphere and kill it. They can kill it. And a lot of times it's, you still hold these people because they're your friends, and this may be the only toxic trait they have. But it's tough. And a lot of times they're rude. They're rude, but, it's all about them. That's all they want to talk about is them. They'll call to check on you if you're going through a tough time, and then 30 seconds later, for an hour, they're talking about all their problems. Me. That's selfishness. But it turns into being negative and complaining. So, we're not just we're talking about humans now. That's not just people that suck. I think the lack of being able to control it or willingness to control it could factor in. So, annoying, selfish, or rude, just a whole lack of self-awareness. And also, a lot of times people will put up with it. Have you seen this? They'll put up with it. I'll talk to some tactics here in a minute, but they get away with it. Well, if they get away with it, then honestly, how much of it's still their fault, but there's no consequences to this bad behavior, so the behavior doesn't change. And sometimes it would be rewarded. It's something they want. I want my drink right now at a deli counter. They're louder, they're waving. Everybody's probably grateful. Take care of him first. We got to get rid of him. It's rewarded. That works. People always let you in when you go down the median and get cut line. Well, look at look at all those fools. I just saved 20 minutes. Yeah. Another thing is the entitlement, the N word, narcissism, that plays into it. They're superior. They're more important. Come on, look at me. I'm the boss here. Or I'm going to be the boss. I'm on the fast track. You're a plebe. You're a worker bee. So they feel like, any kind of politeness or improvables are out of the question. Yeah. And you get away with it so long. Maybe you saw your parents act that way, so that's how you act that way. Or you're showing out in front of friends. Really, it's you look at, a lot of times it's just being socially or emotionally immature. It is, because I really believe even those things, they're going to catch up to you. I was headed back the other day, and these guys, they looked like they were having a good time. They were. I went through a small town, and they pulled out behind me, and then probably 20 miles, 20 miles down the road, they zip past me. Okay, that's fine. I was not in the passing lane. And the next thing I know, one of them throws a beer can out. We're just going through the desert, beer can out. And I go, I hadn't seen anybody litter in I don't know how long. And then a little while later, the driver, hook shots one. They're drinking beer, and they're going so fast. They leave me. Boom. So apparently they stop. Use the restroom. I get in the car. I stop, use the restroom. I can't pass a restroom. Anyway, we're going, and man, they are passing people, and they're swerving. A couple of times they ran. I'm thinking, I don't know, something's going on. They were going north of 90 miles an hour. I'll say that. Well, okay, time goes on. I bet they're headed to Vegas, because it's just about, at that point, 2.5, 3 hours away. And so I stop again because I have to stop a lot. Well, I see lights way ahead, probably an hour later, and they pulled these guys over. And the cop was there, the highway patrol was there, and I look behind, and there's 2 more highway patrols coming, and then there's another one coming north, all about this truck. So whatever they were doing, whether it was swerving, whether it was being rude, whether it was littering, I've always said somebody's watching. I think the same thing is with people suck in public. It's going to catch up, even the little things. Now, drinking and driving, it's nothing to play with. However, I think even some of the smaller social faux pas are going to catch up to you. I like to think that. That might be what keeps others from doing it. I don't know. But a lot of these people, they're so resistant to change, because that way they have to admit their behavior was wrong. So they won't want to do that. So you've got, I named a bunch of things. I talked about where this happens, which we all know, and hopefully you're thinking of them too. Email them to me. I love them. Tell me the story. I got so many. And then I've talked about maybe the why. I'm not trying to make excuses for them, but if I understand the why, maybe I can understand their behavior. Whatever the reason, they still suck. And we have to deal with them. So how do you deal with these people? How do you deal with them? Just a few ways, a few thoughts. Most of the time, it's just more of a few passive ways. Most of the time, I just ignore it. I'll just move away. Somebody's is in a group or in public or whatever, and they're obnoxious. I'll just go to the next gate, or I'll go to the other end of the bar, or I will remove myself from that situation, because you know what? We're in different places right now. I'm happy. I want to have a good time. They're not. Or I'm tired. I just need some semi-quiet. Or I just want to watch the game. I don't need all this. So I'll remove myself, because a lot of times I'm thinking, all right, it's not that crazy, and it sucks to be them, And it works for a lot of the minor stuff. people being annoying. I'll just move. And then other times I'm still polite, but you can be a little firm with it. Somebody's breaking line. Excuse me. No, there's a line. And you can do I'm a little bigger, so a lot of times I can get away with that. And if they come back at me or whatever, or if they're being really loud, and not just a loud talker, but obnoxiously loud, I'll just, I'd appreciate, can you lower your voice a little bit? I can't hear the game. Or, I'm on a call or something like this, just to give them the chance to change the behavior or a little bit. And most of the time that works. They'll, so sorry, my bad. Just excited. I get it, man. And it's cool. That person doesn't suck. That person just forgot or got caught up in the moment. It ever happened to you? It's happened to me a lot. Sometimes, though, many times, and this happened on planes. It used to be when I had the over the ears. Yeah, I could do two things. I could give a look, and as I'm putting those headphones on, like, good Lord, do a few of those. Now you put the little earbuds in, and just, you just do the ignore, like, don't talk to me, please don't talk to me, that kind of thing. That works a lot. Just, I guess, distract them from that, or I'm reading a book. A lot of times this is when people are trying to talk to you or they're being rude and loud beside you. Give them the indication that that's not okay. It's a little passive aggressive, but however, a lot of times that will work. Sometimes just the opposite of what you want to do, just kill them with kindness. This has happened to me at grocery stores. It's had to happen in traffic a lot, but if you can talk to them though, wow, I can see you are in a big hurry. Go ahead. Now, I've only got one item and you got a full cart, but you go right ahead. This makes sense. Yeah, I was here first, but no, go ahead. That's fine. I know. I want to get out of your. I've said this many. I'd rather have you in front of me than behind me. Yeah, that's kind of a jerk move, but still, come on. They shouldn't be sucking. But that, it may make them feel self-conscious. It may reinforce the bad behavior. They got to go first. Look at me. All I got to do, So I don't know what's right. And then I do this a lot. I'll use humor. It's really not humor. It's more sarcasm than anything. You're cutting line on me. Oh, I didn't realize this line was optional. Oh, I didn't. What? Oh, look at you're clearly a VIP. You got first class seat on Southwest. You're A+ instead of just A. Just some kind of humor. But that's in face. That's not in traffic. Of course, you could use that. I've got thoughts about making some signs to hold up for people. But a lot of times it's humor / sarcasm. Buddy, you clearly want to see this band more than I do. Or, you and your, well, I can say several things. Sometimes my sarcasm gets a little off color, so I'm going to hold it right there so we can keep our PG-13. Then there's some more aggressive ways. I'm a very patient person in public and people, because you've got all different kinds of people. But sometimes you just have to call them out directly. You really do. You really do. It was before a show in Orange County. I was at an Outback in Orange County. And so I go in, and I like to sit at the end. I always go to the bar if I'm by myself because I can watch TV, and I don't want to sit at a table by myself. But I like to sit at the end, but it was right by the corner. And there were two guys by the corner, and they were talking, and they were loud, and I was already like, I might move. I stayed there. I didn't remove myself for it because it looked like a work thing. And one of the guys, the lady brought the bartender server brought them an appetizer. I remember it. Fried coconut shrimp as an appetizer. Yeah. Then they brought their food, and it was something grilled. And he said something like, "You screwed up my order. This is ridiculous. he was showing out in front of his client or whatever. We can't eat, it was fried chicken instead of grilled chicken. I remember it now. He said, we can't eat this. We can't eat this fried stuff. And he sent it back. He said, get it right if you can. I remember that. Get it right if you can. And bring us some drinks on the house because you messed this up. And I don't know. A lot of times I would just, no. But this poor person was absolutely working themselves to death. It was a guy managing the bar, waiting on all the people in the bar, the food, the drinks, everything. And this yahoo starts acting this way. And so I just look at him, and he said, what? I said, can't you see? This person's doing the best they could. They didn't cook your food. You owe them an apology. And he went, well, I have a diet that I can't have a bunch of fried food. I said, you just wolfed down fried coconut shrimp. Like that. And I said, you owe an apology. And so I went back to my deal. They weren't there. Then finally, to everybody's credit, they came back and the guy said, look, I'm sorry. Anybody can make a mistake. And I was out of line. Like that. Okay. Then when they left, all of a sudden, drinks started appearing. Everybody at the bar was sick of them, but nobody said anything. I called them out. They apologized. And then when I go to pay, my meal was on the house. I didn't do that for free drinks or free meal. It's just this got to me so bad when someone is so rude to somebody that's working their butt off. So sometimes just that calling them out directly, it needs to be done. This guy still sucks. His behavior was ridiculous. I hope his client was embarrassed. I hope he didn't get any more business. However, he apologized. But I could not just sit there and take it. Many times I will. The thing is, a lot of times I was by myself. If my family's around, I will act a little differently than if I'm by myself. But this guy was clearly had a problem. Another thing, if you don't address it directly, just match their energy. If they're being aggressive, all right, well, you can get aggressive. What if they're raising their voice, raise your voice. Make them back off. It's like how you deal with a bully. Stand up to them. If somebody's pushing past you and, you do that, whoa, somebody's in a hurry. Hey, buddy, hey, call them out, make them look at you. Take it easy, man, slow down. But, they're already past you, so there's ways to address it. You don't want to get in an altercation. However, don't let it go unaddressed. But at mirroring their behavior or their tone. I had a guy one time who, I wasn't involved in this, but I've never heard this guy say a cuss word in his life. But a guy come up and he's loud and he's, a bit of a social bully. And he starts yelling and says a cuss word. And this guy comes right back at him with the same word. And, it's like this. And everybody's like, oh. And they thought, oh, what is happening? This preacher type is about to raise hell on this guy. Everybody calmed down, including that guy. So matching their energy, a lot of times, what it really does, it holds up a mirror to point to them. Look how you're acting. And hopefully they calm down. Then you can just embarrass them. Just embarrass them. What, you're cutting in front of me? You're cutting in front of all these people. What are you doing? Every one of these people here have a right to be in front of you, and you come up, what are you doing? A lot of times they'll go, if they stay, you may not want to mess with them because this is a psychopath. However, call them out publicly. Sometimes that's the only thing to do. Point out their behavior publicly. Make a spectacle of them. Now, some people watching are going to think you suck for doing that. I don't know. I'm just trying to think of ways to deal with this. And then you got, you can sabotage their behavior. Somebody starts pushing, push back. Create a barrier to them. Block their access to cut line. I've seen it so many times. And usually it's a certain type, but they'll see somebody coming. You'll see somebody coming like in the not the median, but the side area. They're coming up and they're going to cut in front of everybody. I've seen these people just pull over in that lane and block them and just shake their, nope, not getting past me. So you don't let it happen. I've seen it happen. You know, anytime you're physically blocking somebody, you stand the chance up. But I've seen in traffic a lot of times, nope, I'm not going to let you do that. I'm not going to let you cut in line. I've seen truckers when you have, this annoys me, but they'll get side by side on a 2-lane road. Nobody's passing. You know, if they sense something's going, they used to annoy me, and then they tell me some reasons why they might be doing that. So, you know, sabotage their behavior. Don't let it happen. Nope. Sorry. That's not, your ticket is no longer valid here. And then a lot of times I've seen it happen recently. Act like you're recording them. This is a new thing. We couldn't do this in the 80s. Act like you're recording them. What are you doing recording me? Well, your behavior is inappropriate. I just want to make sure someone knows it's you, not me. Woo! You may get your phone slapped out of your hand, but you'll have video of it. So that's a new one. I've seen that a lot. So with them, you know, some strategies to try to deal with it, with these kind of people, you know, understand your proximity. You know, try to stay away. Keep a physical distance. It's good to keep a earshot distance. And, you know, early on, we've talked about establishing boundaries. Use body language or eye contact or something to where you're not interested. You know, if you put something on the chair in between you, you're creating a boundary. They have to ask you to move it. Now, I know that can be dick behavior too. However, there's plenty of seats. Don't sit next to me. You know, just different things. You know, let's just, you can diffuse something before it escalates. Sometimes you have to just take control. You know, somebody's being so negative in a social environment. It's negative. Look, let's just focus on some positive stuff. You know, we can have a negative session later. Or let's just take control of the situation so it doesn't spiral. You know, there's different things we can do, and you know how to do this. One of the best things is when people consistently suck, I just deselect them. So I don't have a lot of those people in my life. I know certain things that they do that drives me crazy. Well, I don't usually do those things with them. I think a lot, the term street smart comes out. I think that's true with dealing with these kind of people too. Be savvy. Understand the situation ahead of time. You can forecast what might happen. You can predict it. And then it almost becomes instinct after a while. But sometimes you have to address it directly. Because one thing about people are wonderful. I could not survive alone. Emotionally, physically, anything. And I have a good network of friends. I didn't even mention hecklers earlier. I get heckled from time to time, and I kind of like that. Usually the same person doesn't heckle me twice. However, it is necessary to learn to deal with them. One thing it does, it points out things about you that you can improve. You know, why do they do that? And you think, oh, you know what? I do that. Purple car. I suck sometimes. So it's a worthy endeavor to try to understand. However, the best thing to do is not play. It's like tic-tac-toe. The best way to win is not to play, because people are gonna suck. There's no doubt about it. The goal should be for them to suck less around you. So, hopefully this helps. It's going to happen. Get the clicker out. Tomorrow when you're out there, every time someone does something that sucks, make a note of it. Let me know. Email me, dave@otalks.com or david@otalks.com. Please, I collect these. I love the stories, and then how did it end? This is what happened. Here's what I did, and here's what. Hey, tips. I'm going to start something on the website pretty soon on feedback and what you say. So everybody, almost like a bulletin board. That way, because some of you O-Talkers are killing it with some of the things that you do, or times you've encountered something and I thought about what you said and here's what I did. we're going to start celebrating those on otalks.com. So thanks so much for joining. Get out there, suck less. Thanks for everything you're doing, and thanks for O-Talking with Dave. Giddy up.